How well does this camera do in an actual cinematic setting? Is it convincing or does it look like a GoPro? Oh, fuck.
What the hell is this?
Hey!
What is this place? Every night you fall asleep, you enter through a hidden door. What time is it? Picture it. You're on a beach.
Weightless, adrift. Storm is rolling in, churning with the anxiety of anticipation that soon this will all be gone, a memory with no way back.
I gotta get out of here.
Waves are peaks and troughs, two sides of the same coin, two versions of a man trapped here.
How long has this been going?
That's Ace with How Long? This one goes out to all those lonely souls lost in a funhouse being taunted by their own reflection.
You know, taunting feels like a strong word to me. How are we gonna get out of here? You put us here. All you have to do is wake up.
Okay, you wrote us here, so do you have a plan on getting us out? No, I hadn't thought that far ahead. This was just supposed to be a camera test. Right. Do you want a burrito?
So this is a follow-up to a video I did about a month ago, a movie by yourself with the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. That was pretty simple. I just got it out of the box, charged it up, and sort of just started shooting. So this time I thought, well, what if I put some actual effort into it? It's still gonna just mostly be me doing it, but with one light and some sort of plan. As I said before, I was not paid by DJI. I bought this camera. I have the creator kit. As for color, this time I did shoot D-Log, 10-bit, 4K, mostly 24. For audio, I used the microphone with a lav from the wireless Rode mic that I taped under my shirt. I did the double sticky triangle thing where the microphone's actually encapsulated in two sticky triangles of tape that are folded. There you go. What is so great about this still is that you can just place it anywhere, use the app, and you can very quickly find a frame that you like and hit record and then move on to the next thing. One of the effects of using this, on my brain at least, is that now I want to use the app to position every camera that I have. So even when I was framing this shot, I kept thinking oh, I wish I could zoom in a little bit or look around left and right. I mean, that's really what's so awesome about having a gimbal. Now, because this thing is so tiny, I wanted to do a lot of stuff that I could really only do with a camera this size. Things I couldn't even do with the FX3, which is saying something because the FX3 is a pretty small camera. So one of the things that I first did was tape it to the ceiling. I didn't end up using that shot, but I also taped it to the wall for those high bedroom shots. And I wasn't super concerned that it was gonna fall. Maybe I should have been, but it stayed for the most part. I probably wouldn't necessarily do that every time, but it was just something to test. It's light enough that it really wasn't a major issue. For the bathroom shots, the camera was actually on the windowsill, sort of right next to the window. There's no way I could have put the FX3 there. It was crazy. The thing that really blew my mind was the car stuff. I have a cheap mount from Amazon that I stuck on the window. The stabilization is so good that it actually gets rid of all of the micro shake also, which is tough because a bigger camera, you're gonna get more of that even if it has IBIS. Also because it's so light, you don't have the pendulum effect where the camera weight is actually magnifying the shake. So it was incredibly solid. If you're shooting inside a car and your camera is inside the car in the sense that you don't have a process trailer, it's hard to get the camera far back enough from the talent to use a lens that doesn't mimic like a GoPro. The other thing that's cool about mounting something in a car is because it's on a gimbal, you can use the same mounting point and get multiple shots, which is pretty unusual. So you could have it on the hood and you could get a front shot, and then you could also just, when it was there, spin it around and get the reverse shot. By far the coolest thing, which is helpful because of the selfie stick, is the shot where it's from basically 1.5 inches off the ground. And it was a little sketch, and I probably wouldn't do this in a professional setting, but I was just trying it out. I'm driving down Ventura Boulevard and I'm holding the camera, obviously it was further extended, but I'm holding the camera out the left side of the car, and I'm trying to position it so that it doesn't impact the ground. And I'm driving, and I'm also trying to shift at the same time. And I think that's one of the coolest, most special shots that I can't really think of any other way I could really have got that, especially by myself, without building like a rig that was hanging off the side of the car or something like that. It is a little sketch though. Another thing that I love, which is a fun little trick, is if you take the camera on the selfie stick and you position it like this, and you extend her out a little bit, you can a bit approximate sort of like a walking shot, and that's how I got some of the tracking shots on the beach. The thing is to just like keep it low enough and keep your arms straight so that it doesn't look like you're using a selfie stick. I will say this is the stupidest, like it's embarrassing, right? It's very stupid. So there's a couple shots that have movement, which are basically the same shot, actually, just twice. My buddy Jack, who is not a professional camera operator, but has a really good eye, picked it up almost immediately. We sort of blocked it, we ran it a couple of times, tweaked it a little, and then we were done. I used a lot of natural light, but I did light a couple of the shots, and I only stuck with one fairly inexpensive light for everything. It's the Amaran 200X bicolor light, and I have a 36-inch dome, octodome diffuser with the grid. Two major ways that I use it: as a key with the dome for small spaces. Secondly, as a key light without any modifiers, blasting in through a window. I have these great horizontal blinds that are very like film noir-esque when you hit with the light and they spread and they get this really nice shadow. And I think it really adds to the depth. It's crazy to me how when you put just even one light outside shooting into a room is it makes such a big difference to creating something that feels like filmic, that has like volume, that has depth to it and dimension. There's also a handful of practicals in the house, and then in one of the shots, there is a pavo tube just off screen, providing a little bit of color to break up the background. So speaking of color, color's been pretty interesting, if not a little challenging. Outside, I ended up using the variable ND filters. I got a little kit from Amazon. Worth it, definitely. I think there's a little color shift, but nothing too crazy. 10-bit color is really good. It holds up pretty well. I think the DJI Rec 709 LUT is too saturated. And because this is a relatively new camera, there really aren't a lot of LUTs or color space transform tools available. I'm sure that will change. If you use Film Convert or Dehancer, there isn't a camera profile specifically for the Pocket 3. There are some that are close, and I assume that they will be coming relatively soon. I found something though that I do like a lot, which I am paying for, called color.io. It is, I would say, 90% of what I want it to be. It's standalone, which is kind of annoying, but basically you export a still from Premiere and then you bring it into color.io, and you can do the color space transform, and then you can sort of choose from there what film stocks you want to emulate, and it has a lot of really interesting tools that are unique to that feel like both different but also fairly intuitive, and it doesn't take a long time to get something good and get something cool looking. Then you export the LUT and then bring it into Premiere. Also, because it doesn't have a specific profile for this camera, what I ended up doing is basically putting a LUT on everything to Rec 709, then exporting that, and then grading that. And that's, you know, it sometimes does break the footage. So eventually I think that there will be something better here. But it's fun to learn, if not very frustrating. Two things I want to do still going forward. I want to try to like shoot an actual cinematic scene in public, where we just do it, and I have like 2 actors. I also want to do some more car stuff and try to really get the vibe nailed for how the best to use this with in a car. As always, thank you for watching. I'm Andy Reesmeyer. You can subscribe or like it, or if you don't, you can go subscribe to something else.